Hello, my most amazing artists. We are going to start this beautiful winter project today. I know that it is not winter yet. However, before you know it, December will be here and we want to have our winter projects to hang up in the hallway and to take home. Our project today, it has a beautiful watercolored background. It has snow. Can you see the little bit of a shimmer on that paper? It has shimmery snow. We have birch trees. Birch trees are white trees with these black markings, and then our trees have shadow. When we start today, we are going to watercolor the background and we are going to watercolor our snow. We have really awesome pearl watercolor that we're going to watercolor here. So when we do this, I want you to see that I have different colors in the background. I probably will not put out magenta just because I didn't like the way it looked as much as I thought I would. But there's purple underneath here that you can't see that I covered up. But purple, blue-green, and blue will probably be the colors I put out. Oh, one more thing. You see the really awesome snow in the background? If you've been here before, you have done this technique. This is watercolor, and then we take kosher salt and sprinkle it over the salt, and when it dries, that salt sucks up some of the water from the paper and it leaves these markings to look like snow. Here's how we're going to do it. Let's see here, where's my thing? Here we go. So I wanted to show you what happens if you put too much water on your paper. If you put too much water on your paper, it looks like a mess. This does not look like snow. This looks like snow. This had puddles on it. This is what puddles look like. So when you do this today, be very careful not to get puddles. You want all your watercolor to almost look dry. The salt will still work, even if your paper looks dry. Here's how to watercolor it. Let me pull my colors. You're gonna have to be real careful today and wash your brush when you do this up, because if you don't, you're going to have all your colors start to mix and it's going to ruin the watercolor. So at the watercolor stations, you have to wash your brush real well. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to kind of envision my paper in thirds. So I'm going to dip my brush into the blue-green paint. I don't swirl, I don't stir. It is already ready to use. And then I come onto my paper and I make long strokes over the paper. See that puddle? That's no good. You want to work it into your paper using long strokes. So you're going to use the paint that you put down and then move it to cover your paper. So like I said, I'm going to envision my paper in about thirds, and that's about a third. That's a blue-green. I'm going to clean my brush, dry my brush, dip it into the blue, and then do the same thing, except this time I'm going to overlap that blue into the blue-green to blend it. See how my hand is going back and forth to make those long strokes. You don't want puddles, so you're going to work that in if you get that. All right, clean my brush again. And then the last third of my paper, I'm going to do the purple color. Go right over it. Once again, I'm going to overlap my colors to blend them in. I'm not using my brush like this. You see how it moves the hair of the brush side to side? We don't want side to side. We want the hair of the brush, the bristles of the brush, to be flat on the paper and to move in the direction of the paintbrush. All right, I'm going to take some of this and move it at the bottom here. Because I've got paint on my brush, I don't need to get any more to get those little areas. Make sure it's overlapped so it's blended. Okay, so there is my paper. You're then going to take the little salt and sprinkle your page. You're going to use pinchers. Actually, I like to use 3, so I get a little bit in my pinchers. And then you sprinkle it over your paper. You may say, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. It is, I promise it is. it takes a moment for the salt to start to have a reaction. And some colors, it reacts faster than others. So don't worry, you're gonna sprinkle. We're not dumping, we're sprinkling. This is the very first part today. So if you're at the watercolor station, that's your first task. Then we have, let me wipe this down so I don't get those colors on my pearl. You have this piece of paper that you also must write your name on. But this one is much easier to do. There's going to be pearl paint. I just use the lid for the thing, but it will be in a little cup like liquid watercolor usually is. You're going to dip your brush in, and it is shiny and beautiful, and it's kind of hard to see, but you're going to do the same thing and cover your paper with this beautiful paint. I don't know if you can see this in the video or not. You can see it going onto the mat there. But this paint will be shimmery and shiny, and it will glisten just like snow does. Now I know we are in Texas, so we do not see snow often. But if you remember last winter, we had snow, and it stayed actually on the rooftops for like more than a day, which is crazy for Houston in spring. All right, there we go. So I have my little shimmery paper done. You see the shine from it? And then this will be our snow next week. We'll cut it to make a horizon line, a wavy line for a horizon line, and this will be the snow. So we have two tasks today. One is going to be to watercolor our background paper, and the other one is going to be to paint our snow. Next week we'll start assembling and making our project. You can see, I wanted to show you. This is the one I just did, and we have little reactions already starting to happen. So it does happen, but you have to be patient. All right, let's get started.